Let's go get some opening music on. Can you hear that?
Yep.
Okay, let me make it louder. We're waiting for YouTube. Come on, YouTube, you can do it. There we go. All right. Dance with me. This is my Suno orchestra, Matt. He's dancing. I never saw Matt dance before. Cool beans. Happy birthday. It's your day. Celebrating you in a special way. Shine.
We're celebrating you in style.
Okay, let's quiet this down. I'm going to tell the Suno Orchestra to take a rest. I'm Bonnie D. Happy to be here with my special guest today, Matt C. Cost, C-O-S-T, easy to remember, okay? Matt, welcome. You've been a guest on my creativity show several times, and I said, hey, Matt would be fun to talk about birthdays with. So, Matt, welcome, and why don't you tell everybody briefly, who are you and what do you do?
Well, thanks for having me on. I'm a author. I have 18 published books. I write mostly histories and mysteries.
What kind of histories and mysteries? History of what? Mysteries of what?
I have a few different historical fiction books about various people that's wide ranging. And then my mysteries, I also run the gamut. I have a few set in Maine, where I live. I
Okay.
have the thriller series, it's international, and I have a historical PI mystery series set in 1920s Brooklyn, New York. So it's a little bit of all kinds of mysteries.
Whoa, whoa, Brooklyn, New York. I'm a Queens girl. My goodness, every time I raise my hand, Zoom puts me over on the other lower hand. There we go. I need to go back on the right. Interesting, fascinating. How long you been writing, Matt?
I've been writing for forever, since age
Okay.
8, and wrote my first draft in 1991, but I've only been a traditionally published author since 2020.
Very, very good. Well, I'm trying to be a traditionally published author, but I'm a traditionally published speaker, so I talk to people like you who are interesting. Are you ready for me to open the show? Shall we do it?
Absolutely. Let's
Okay,
go.
here we go. It's time to cheer, to toast to woo. It's October 27th. Happy birthday to you and you and you. With Bonnie D on her scarlet, I think the mic is more famous than I am, on her scarlet mic dishing glam and sass with a vintage spike. I'm not the vintage. The spike is vintage. It's in the other room. And look who's here with a velvet roar. It's Matt C. C-O-S-T cost, my guest co-host du jour. That rhymes with roar. We're naming names in the birthday game from Hollywood Heights to YouTube fame for wacky holidays and music history gold. Get ready, darlings. The fun is set to unfold. So grab your party hat. Do you have a party hat, Matt? I'm going to put a little flower on here. See?
I did not bring a party
I
hat.
can. I should have told you. I'm going to grab that. So grab your party hat and let the champagne pour. It's 11:22 a.m. here. You know what? It's almost time for brunch, so we could have champagne. HB2U is lighting up October 27th with glam, bam, and so much more. I'm going to start, and then we'll go through the list. Let's start with events in music history. 1957. Matt, this is historical. It might even be hysterical. In 1957, the police in Oakland, California, told Elvis Presley he is not allowed to swivel his hips on stage. Boy, have times changed in 75 years. In tonight's performance, this was October 27, 1957, at the Oakland Auditorium. Elvis responded by wiggling only his little finger, I assume his pinky, while singing. The cops filmed the show just to see if they could catch him wiggling there. Can you believe, with everything we know in music today, Matt, that he couldn't wiggle his hips?
I guess it all has to start somewhere, doesn't it?
I guess it does. You've got the next one. What you got?
In 1962, the Rolling Stones record their first demo in London at Curly Clayton Studios, recording covers of songs by Muddy Waters, Jimmy Reed, and Bo Diddley. The demos get little interest when they shop them to record companies.
The Rolling Stones couldn't get noticed in 1962. I
Well,
think go ahead, go ahead.
they're going to get noticed in 1965 when they start writing their own songs. Do you know what the first song is that they
Tell
write
me,
that becomes
tell me
popular?
what?
I can't get no satisfaction.
Isn't that perfect? Isn't that perfect? And I think in the show I did last week, I think the who had a different name, were doing demos at record companies and they couldn't get a record deal in the beginning. No, nobody wanted them. But here we are so many years later. I don't even want to count them. Let's go to 1964. Apparently, there was a pretend wedding of a 31-year-old man named Salvatore Bono. You know him as Sonny. An 18-year-old, what? 15-year difference. 13-year difference. Sherilyn Sarkisian. You know her as Cher. They were apparently were living together in their first home. Boy, that's interesting. They exchanged wedding rings and vows, but their real wedding date wasn't until 1969, 5 years later. So Sonny and Cher had a pretend what fake it till you make it kind of a wedding in 1964. She's still around. Sonny skied into a tree and left us years ago. He had a political career as well as singing, but I still remember early Sonny and Cher. Do you, Matt?
I do. I do. So, um,
Lots of good songs. Okay, you're going to take us to 1972. What happened?
1972. 8 months after releasing Music of My Mind, the prolific Stevie Wonder releases his innovative album Talking Book, where he creates most of the sounds himself using a clavinet and a custom-made synthesizer. Tracks include Superstition and You Are the Sunshine of My Life. So this touches off the classical period of Stevie Wonder's life. At age 22, 9 years earlier, at 13, he was a number one Billboard's Top 100 record
Fingertips Part
star.
1 and Fingertips Part 2. I bought the 45 RPM records. I had the little records. It was Fingertips Part 1. The Little Stevie Wonder was his name. You remember? I don't know if you remember that, but
Oh,
I do.
that predates me a little bit.
Oh, it was just absolutely wonderful. And he's still around and still making fabulous music. And he really carved a place for him in the music lore, didn't he?
Absolutely.
And let's go to the following year, 1973. A lot of nostalgia here for me, and you can pretend you remember these. Gladys Knight and the Pips, Midnight Train to Georgia, hit number one for 2 weeks. That was a big hit. And I think she's still around. I don't know what happened to the Pips. They never really had a name in music. Nobody said, "Oh, he's one of Gladys Knight's." At least not for me. But Gladys Knight was a wonderful. She had a beautiful velvet voice, very pretty lady. So Midnight Train to Georgia. Number one, first week in 1973, October 27th. Matt?
Now we're getting into my realm.
Mm-hmm.
1982, and Prince releases his fifth album, 1999, a breakthrough for him, selling 5 million plus copies worldwide thanks to the title track Little Red Corvette.
Remember that song?
So the year before, he tried to open for the Rolling Stones and got booed off the stage because he wasn't really a Rolling Stones sort of opening act. And a year later, he's got Little Red Corvette in his album 1999, kind of rocking all over the place.
Yeah, I know. And he loved, was it Purple Rain was one of his, and Purple Beret, and he liked colors in his music. He left us way too soon. He didn't have to, but he did. And Prince, I remember the day your passing was announced on the news, and we all said, "Oh my!" We cried our own version of Purple Rain, I think, that day. Let's move ahead to 1986. David Byrne, who had recently directed the movie True Stories, I didn't see that, with a soundtrack by his band. You all know him as David Byrne and Talking Heads. He was on the cover of Time magazine, Matt, as rock's Renaissance man. Do you think that was a good caption?
Absolutely. He brought a lot of change to music. He was very innovative.
Very, very. You've got the next one. This is interesting. We're jumping ahead to the what? 2011? Go.
2011, I think we got these guys that have been around before, but in 2011, the MTV reboots Beavis and Butthead, taken off the air in 1997 for another season. And maybe perhaps one of the reasons they're taken off is one of their quintessential quotes is, "You can't polish a turd, Beavis."
Maybe those were the same police who told Elvis he couldn't swivel his hips.
Yeah.
That was 1950. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was 97. They were taken off. Well,
Yeah.
40 years earlier, Elvis and his hips. Let's go to 2012. Barbara Streisand's album, Release Me, hit number 7, making her the first musical artist with multiple albums in the top 10 in every decade from the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, aughts, and 10s. Oh my goodness. She is the female artist. I don't know if this still holds today. Female artist with the most top 10 charting albums in history. I think it'll take a while even for Taylor Swift to catch up, but age is what she needs, right? In order to have that many out, she needs to keep going. You've got the next one about Taylor Swift. Speaking
Yeah,
of the,
Taylor Swift is working on catching up, but
she is.
actually her biggest selling album came out 11 years ago in 2014. So she hasn't eclipsed that that album from 1989, which the first two single, the monster hits, Shake It Off and Blank Space.
My goodness. And funny thing, her album is called 1989, and Prince's album that was a blockbuster was called 1999. Isn't that interesting? There's something about the years that just grabs people attention. And let's go one more year to 2015, which is 10 years ago today. Twitter discontinued Vine. Now, when I look up social media stars, Matt, for the birthday list, and we'll get to that in a little while, many of them started on Vine. Vine was a short form video hosting service that launched the careers of people including Shawn Mendes. So bye bye Vine and hello Twitter. Are we ready to move to celebrity birthdays, Matt? Ready?
Absolutely, let's
Okay,
go.
let's go. John Cleese, 86 years old. I'll keep this short. English comedian, actor, screenwriter, producer, presenter. He came from the Cambridge Footlights in the 1960s, success at the Edinburgh. Some people, I think, say Edinburgh Festival, Fringe, and a scriptwriter and performer on The Frost Report, but nobody cares about that because he co-founded Monty Python, the comedy troupe responsible for the sketch show Monty Python's Flying Circus. His co-stars were Graham Chapman, Terry Gilliam, Eric Idle, Terry Jones, Michael Palin. Oh, all of them very well known. Cleese starred in the movies Monty Python and the Holy Grail, 1975. Life of Brian, 1979. The Meaning of Life, 1983. I didn't know this. Did you know he starred in and wrote the comedy film A Fish Called Wanda? Do you know that?
I did.
I didn't.
I
And
used to own a video store, so it was a very popular video in my video store back in the 90s.
wow. And who was in that? Was it Jamie Lee Curtis in A Fish Called Wanda?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. I watched parts of that. And there was a sequel, sort of a sequel in 1997, which was almost a decade later, Fierce Creatures. He starred in so many movies, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein in 94, George of the Jungle in 97, and I'll skip ahead to Charlie's Angels Full Throttle in 2003 and The Day the Earth Stood Still 2008. John Cleese, happy birthday. I'll play an applause for the birthday people when we're done. You've got the next one, and she is quirky. Go ahead, Matt.
Kelly Osbourne is 41 years old. The British television personality, singer, actress, and fashion designer. The daughter of Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. She gained fame on the reality family show The Osbournes, which won a 2002 Emmy for Outstanding Reality Program. Her other television work, including hosting Project Catwalk,
Hmm.
2007 and 8, and Fashion Please from 2010 to 2015, competing on the season 9 of Dancing with the Stars in 2009, and judging on Project Runway Junior for 2 years from 2015 to 2017, and Australia's Got Talent 2016. She voiced Hildy Gloom in the Disney XD animated series The 7D. In 2003, she collaborated with her father, Ozzy, on the Black Sabbath song Changes, which reached #1 on the UK singles chart.
I will tell you, when I looked this up and I found out her birthday was today, Matt, I looked her up and she has so many looks. I wouldn't recognize her from one picture to the other. Not only did the hair change from silver to lavender to blonde, probably red like her mother, but she just looks different in every, and she's only 41. She's got, I wouldn't know her if she appeared on TV. I wouldn't even know who she was. Are you a fan of Were you a Black Sabbath fan, Matt?
I was a Black Sabbath fan. I liked Ozzy. I don't know Kelly as much, but I did see that she just got engaged this year. But it's not the first time she's been engaged. So let's see how things go.
Well, I will tell you, according to the history you read about her movie history and her TV hosting, she stayed for quite a while. Fashion Police was from 2010 to 2015, The Catwalk for 2 years, Runway Junior for 3 years. So she's able to stick around really with projects for quite a few years. So let's see if she sticks with this engagement, and happy birthday, Kelly Osbourne. Let's go to Roberto Benigni. He is 73. You might not know his name, but you will know him from starring in the film Life is Beautiful, which he wrote, directed, and starred in, and received the Oscars for Best Actor and Best International Feature Film. He's an Italian actor, comedian, screenwriter, and film director. He was the first actor to win a Best Actor Oscar for a non-English language performance. I thought this was interesting. His background, Matt, his mother was a fabric maker, and his father was a bricklayer, a carpenter, and a farmer. That's a lot of different professions. He became known in Italy in the 70s for the TV series Onda Libera, in which he interpreted the satirical piece, The Hymn of the Body Purged. It's a naughty song. I'll just leave that one alone. It was a scandal at the time, and censors said, no, you can't do that. His first film was in 77, Berlingue. I Love You, and I have it in Italian, and I'm not going to do that, by Bertolucci. So happy birthday to Roberta Benigni. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And you've got one who's easier to pronounce. Who have you got?
Well, first of all, Benini had absolutely fantastic facial contortions. His face could, he didn't need to speak. His face spoke 1,000 words. But we'll move on to Christine Evangelista.
Evangelista. Something
Evangelista.
like that.
Which
Okay.
I do have to confess is I had to look her up because I do not know her at all. So that was the only one on the list that was a little new to me. But she's an American actress known for her supporting role as Sherry in the AMC zombie apocalyptic horror television series, The Walking Dead. And I am one of those people that has not watched The Walking Dead. So
Neither have I.
that's why I didn't know.
I thought you would have watched it. That's why I put it in. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
And she reprised her role in the spin-off series Fear the Walking Dead, and her main role is Megan Morrison West in the drama television series The Arrangement. She performed in several off-Broadway shows and made appearances in TV shows Law and Order, White Collar, Royal Pains, The Good Wife, Blue Bloods, and 666 Park Avenue.
Wow. Well, I have seen, have you ever seen White Collar? Did you ever watch that TV show?
No.
Very well done. Royal Pains, I watched that. The Good Wife, of course, and Blue Bloods, which just ended. Did you know that Danny from Blue Bloods started a new show called Boston Blue? And
Oh, I saw commercials for that. That looks
it's
interesting.
pretty good, except he finally hooked up with Maria Baez, who was his partner in New York, and they're getting out of bed together in the morning, and he has to go rescue his son who's been arrested for something in Boston, and I don't think he comes back to New York. So we just finally got him and Maria together after probably 10 years as she was his partner, and now he's moving on. Okay, we'll leave that one alone. Danny, watch your step. I'm watching you. Okay, let's go to some in memoriam celebrities. There were a lot of them, and I don't usually have this many, but I thought they each deserved some attention. So first up, I know Matt has never heard of this person, but it's Xavier Cugat. He was an American musician and band leader, and they called him the Rumba King. He was a caricature artist, I didn't know, and he owned restaurants in New York and West Hollywood. Okay, he was a leading figure in the spread of Latin music in the U.S., originally from Catalonia in Spain. He spent his formative years in Havana, Cuba, before coming to New York in 1915. He was a violinist. He was an arranger, the leader of the resident orchestra at the Waldorf Astoria, and that is something to talk about. 1933 to 49, recording artist for 40 years. He and his band appeared in movies, and what I didn't see in this memoriam was he was married to a very gorgeous singer named Abby Lane. And she looked a little bit like the human version, I think, of Jessica Rabbit, in the evening gowns and off the shoulder. And she was long red hair, curly red hair, and she was his wife and his singer for many, many years. So happy birthday in memoriam. He was born in 1900. He lived to 1990 and he was 90 years old. I wonder if nine was his lucky number. Okay, rescue me, Matt. Who've you got next?
We're going to move on to Ivan Reitman, who was born in 1946 and passed in 2022. Ivan was a Canadian film director, owner of the Montecito Picture Company, and producer of comedy films. Many of these films are probably the reason why I became a video store owner a few years later. But we're going
Really?
to start off with Meatballs in 1979, Stripes in 1981, Ghostbusters 1984, Twins 1988, Ghostbusters 2 in 1989, Kindergarten Cop 1990, which perhaps was not one of my favorites, but the rest were very good. Dave in 1993, Junior in 94, Draft Day in 2014. Reitman served as producer for National Lampoon's Animal House 1978, Heavy Metal 1981, Space Jam 1996, and Private Parts 1997.
Wow, Ivan Reitman. When I saw the list of movies, I knew that would appeal to you. That's why I gave you his in memoriam birthday shout. He lived to 75, not exactly a ripe old age, but he certainly accomplished a lot. That was a dedicated movie person. So let's move on. We have another star, this time a musician and songwriter, Lou Reed, who lived from 1942 to 2013, and he was only 71. Guitarist, singer, principal songwriter for the Underground, the Velvet Underground rock band. He also had a solo career for 50 years. Velvet Underground, if you haven't heard of it, was regarded as one of the most influential bands in the history of underground and alternative rock music. His voice was deadpan. He was poetic. He had transgressive lyrics. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means, Matt? What is a transgressive lyric?
I think it crosses over genres, perhaps. Does that make sense to you?
I like that because I was thinking it was something darker. And he was an experimental guitar player. Those were his trademarks. But what's most interesting to me is that making his mark in the avant-garde music scene, the band caught the attention of none other than Andy Warhol, who became their manager. Did you know that Warhol managed the band? I had no idea.
Yeah.
The Velvet Underground became a fixture at Andy Warhol's art studio, The Factory, and they were his house band for various projects. I had no idea, in addition to his art, that Andy Warhol was a band manager. So there, happy birthday in memoriam to Lou Reed, born today in 1942. And you've got a big one. Who's the next one? Wow.
We're gonna jump from music to a little bit of everything, including a presidential figure, Theodore Roosevelt, who was born in 1858 and died in 1919 at the age of 60. He was the 26th president of the United States, was a writer and historian, a politician, hunter, environmentalist, and public speaker with over 26 books, over 1,000 published articles, and hundreds of speeches and correspondences to his credit. Roosevelt previously served as a member of the New York State Assembly, a Dakota Territory Sheriff Deputy, the New York City Police Commissioner, the U.S. Civil Service Commissioner, and Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Treasury. Before being elected president at age 42, he served in the Navy, was colonel of the Rough Riders over in Cuba, governor of New York, and a U.S. VP. He was a coffee lover. He was the first U.S. president to board a plane. His refusal to shoot a tethered bear on a 1902 hunting trip was popularized by Clifford Berryman's political cartoon, which inspired Brooklyn candy store owner Morris Mitchum to create a stuffed bear named Teddy's Bear after getting the president's permission. Simultaneously, the German company Steiff created and debuted its own jointed bear in 1903 and popularized the toy internationally, which I think is pretty ironic that this very gruff Teddy Roosevelt, who wasn't really a teddy bear, became the name of the teddy bear.
Well, the story goes, and I had this recently on one of these shows. The story goes that he was on a hunting trip with some of his colleagues, and everybody was able to shoot a bear. And Teddy just kept hitting and missing and not hitting. So one of his people on the trip found a bear and tethered it to a tree, and they said, "Okay, President Roosevelt, shoot it." And he said, "I cannot. I will not. I cannot shoot an animal that's tied to a tree. Tethered is the word." And he refused. The story got back, and then Cliff, the cartoonist, said, "I got to make a cartoon about, look at this big gruff Rough Rider, Theodore Roosevelt, he won't shoot a bear." And that became, and then they said, well, he loves bears. And by the way, I am I'll just use the term loosely, a digital artist. Well, you know, I have a lot of 300 paintings I've done, but I started making teddy bear friends images on Night Cafe 110 days ago. And every night I create another image of three little teddy friends, whether they're fishing or they're sitting in a forest at night with lanterns hanging from the trees, or whether they're in a little sailboat, or they're picking flowers, or they're baking, or they're playing the piano. And I have a collection so far. Every single night, Matt, I make a picture of three. I say, imagine three fluffy teddy friends. And then
Wow.
I give the scene in the style of Beatrix Potter. So, and I own a couple of, just a couple, not a lot. I own a couple of teddy bears. So thank you to Teddy Roosevelt for not shooting that damn bear. We appreciate it. Let's see if I can get an applause track going here. I'm trying. Let's see if we can get the, oh, thank goodness gracious. Thank goodness gracious. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, no, no, no. We don't want to do that. That's a lot of
Oh, now
applause.
it's a party.
Yeah, you know something? This Apple Music is just driving me crazy. But let's go on with our party here. We have some social media stars, and I'm going to let you start out with the first one. Go ahead, Matt.
We're gonna go with Instagram and Anderson Diaz. He, aged 32, with 1.3 million subscribers to his account. Instagram star who traveled to all 195 countries in the world in the fastest time ever, 543 days, beating the 2018 record by 11 days. He posts images and videos from his public talks in exotic locations. The highlights of his trip was seeing gorillas in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Before he became famous, he came from a poor family and neighborhood in Salvador, Brazil. He left home early at 17 and became a street vendor selling cell phone cases. With the money he made, he traveled to Ireland to take an English language school program. I'm not sure about learning English from the Irish. That might come with a heavy accent, but
Doesn't matter. It was still English.
it was pretty impressive on his part. And his love for traveling was sparked. In his video, he speaks directly to the camera about money-making tips or current events. In 2022, he was overseeing the build of a new house for his parents. And probably most importantly, he has a large dog.
Was in the profile. Happy birthday to Anderson Diaz. 1.3 million subscribers. You need a minimum of over a million to get on my birthday list for social media, Matt. That's what it is. But when I read 195 countries in 543 days, if we do the math, that's 200 into less than 600. That's a country every 2.7 days, something like that. Can you imagine scoping out that trip to go from place to place? We don't know whether he flew, whether he took boats, whether he walked, whether he took trains, taxi boats, horseback, camelback. I bet it was a combination of every. We got to go find him and see what he does. What do you think?
I'm thinking he must have had sponsors for the transportation cost because
After a while,
that's
after he
pretty
got his,
expensive to.
it is. And after a while, listen, selling cell phone cases on the street isn't going to pay for that. But if he can afford to build a house for his parents, I think he's got sponsors now. So happy birthday, Anderson Diaz. I'm going to go to the next one. In YouTube, we have Planeta One. He is 41 years old. And the reason he's on the list, Matt, 603 million plus views. He posts vlogs, some people call those vlogs, sharing his experiences as a Latin American living in Canada. I have no idea what those are, but I know a lot of people want to see them. His most popular video, Como es cruzar la frontera USA, Mexico a pie, explorando Tijuana. I hope I did that justice, has been viewed 2.5 million times. Matt, have you ever done anything that's been viewed 2.5 million times? Seriously?
Not that I know of.
Much less 603 million views? I, I've had people on this birthday list in recent weeks who have over 1 billion views of their videos. I didn't even know that these websites could count that high. Just okay. Rescue me. What's the next one you've got?
We are on to TikTok and Ava Ray. She posts lifestyle, travel, and fashion vlogs, plus get ready with me, makeup tutorials, and dancing videos. Her videos sharing the makeup she uses for winter and summer received 5+ million views on TikTok.
She's 20 and she has a total of 48 million plus likes. 48 million. I mean, that's nothing compared to Planeta One with 603 million, but 48 million, I'd be happy to have 48. I'm sorry. And I have one more here, another TikTok star. This is interesting. His name is Austin Armstrong. He is all of 28 years old. He has 3.7 million followers and 139 million likes and more than that. He posts comedic story times and content made with the Schnacky fam. That's a family. He often goes live nightly on TikTok, like I live stream. We're live streaming here. Hello, fans. We're here to engage with fans. He founded a luxury clothing company called the Novello and Company. So happy birthday to Ava Ray, to Austin Armstrong, to Planeta One, to Anderson. Three of them have names that start with A. Do you think there's anything in that? Let's see if we can get a laugh track. Oh, thank God it worked. Once in a while, the soundtrack works. Let's go to a couple wacky holidays here. I'm going to start the first one, and you will do the second one. I hope you don't mind that I gave you the second one. I thought it was kind of cool. First up, it's American Beer Day, and like champagne, it's not noon here. I'm not starting the beer. I don't even have any. In the 1600s, the colonists of the lost colony of Roanoke, which is North Carolina today, likely brought beer from England. They made a brewed some from corn, which was called maize, M-A-I-Z-E, as in a maize with an I. Never mind. After their arrival, colonists in Jamestown, Virginia, did not brew their own beer immediately. There are some questions about the story that people are telling about where beer started in the U.S., Matt. That's why I'm adding that. After their initial supplies ran out, and that's because the sign on the bar said "drink up." I'm sorry, I had to say that. They had to trade for beer from incoming ships. Hey, I'll give you a pound of I don't know fluff from my sheep in exchange for a couple of beers. By 1609, they were actively seeking brewers from England to move to the colony. We need beer. Come move here. We'll give you a nice teepee or something. A hut. I don't know what I'm saying. The earliest documented instances of beer brewing was by colonist George Thorpe, with an E on the end, very English, in 1621, and he used maize, the corn. The first commercial brewery in the New World was established in New Amsterdam, currently New York City, around 1612. Go ahead, Matt.
I think you have a possible explanation for what happened to the lost colony of Roanoke. Perhaps they'd gone on a beer run.
Hence, lost.
Okay, enough of
Wait a
that.
minute, they were amazed.
Yes, they were amazed. We can't have any more from me now. We're going to go to 1789. George Washington's letter to the Marquis de Lafayette, which was dated January 29th, 1789, where he stated his intentions to promote American goods, writing, "I use no porter or cheese in my family, but such as is made in America." The decision was influenced by his frustration with the poor quality of some imported British beer, encouraging domestic manufacturing. It was probably because it was warm beer, don't you think?
So, not very amazing. In 1829, I can't let that one go. I told you you'd have fun. In 1829, the brewing company of DG, and how do you pronounce this? This is Yingling or Youngling?
Yingling.
Youngling, DG Youngling and Son was founded in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Who knew? It's been in operation nearly 200 years. In 2018, which is a couple of hundred years later, they ranked number one in the Brewers Association list of the top 50 craft brewing companies in America. Congratulations to them. And you've got the next big brewery. Go.
Oh, they are the big brewery since 1852 when Anheuser-Busch is founded as Bavarian Brewery. Now the number one beer producer in America, the company says it commands 46% of U.S. beer sales.
Oh my
And I looked
goodness.
through the brands, and I'd have to say that I don't like most of them, but they do own Elysian, which has a beer called Space Dust, which is one of my favorites. So
Okay, what does it taste like? How is it different? How would you, if I gave you three glasses of beer, would you know Space Dust from the others, Matt?
uh, I think I might, as long as it's not other hazy, hoppy double IPAs,
And as
because
long as it's
those
not
those would be a little harder to tell. But if you handed me a Budweiser and a Space Dust, I could tell you just by looking at it, and then one sip would do the trick.
as long as it's not warm British beer.
Right.
Amazing. From 1919 to 1933, the U.S. prohibited the production, the importation, the transportation, and the sale of alcoholic beverages. Prohibition was formally introduced nationwide under the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, ratified on January 16, 1919, by a 68% supermajority in the House of Representatives, 76% support in the Senate, ratified by 46 out of 48 states. They must have really hated alcohol. Prohibition supported called the Drys, Drys, presented it as a battle for public morals and health. You drink, you will be immoral. Prohibition ended with the ratification, see, they got over it, of the 21st Amendment, which repealed the 18th, thank goodness, on December 5th, 1933. So we had prohibition in the US from 1919 to 1933. I doubt if everybody was dry. We know about bootleg, right?
I think it's quite possible that more people drank from 1919 to 1933 than had before that period of time.
Didn't we have the speakeasies?
Speakeasies,
Yes, speakeasies. Yes, yes, which were nightclubs where they had, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they served. Okay, very interesting. Flappers and the
flappers came
Charleston
out and started drinking in public, and that just increased it all. So,
and made the Dries very, very angry. And finally, they got it. Okay, one more. What happened in 2019?
in 2019, more than 7,000 breweries now produce beer in the United States, from industry giants Miller Coors to smaller brew pubs and microbreweries. California hosts 700 independent craft breweries, the most of any U.S. state. So, upon reading that, I was thinking that when I maybe took a break from writing at some point, I would try and visit and have a beer at all 7,000 craft breweries.
Matt, I would start small with the 750 plus in California. I
Okay.
think that'd be a better, and then we will document it and we'll get you an Instagram or a YouTube channel and you'll come back on the show with your okay.
Right.
Really?
I mean, it would be like visiting 195 countries in 543 days, you
See,
know?
you remembered that. See the numbers that stick with us, the amazing ones. Okay, you've got one more holiday for us, and you're going to start this one, and I hope it's not bad luck for anybody. Go ahead.
Well, we're coming to National Black Hat Day, established in 2011 on October 27th, an annual holiday established in 2011 by Cats Protection, an animal charity in the United Kingdom, to combat the negative stereotypes associated with black cats, dispel superstitions about them symbolizing bad luck, and raise awareness about the low adoption rate for black cats. At this time of year, black cats may decorate Halloween windows and doors for spooky decor. And I think in a little bit, I'm going to read about somebody that might have been responsible for creating all this bad stuff.
I had to do the trombone. I hope you heard that. Okay, in 1232, we're going way back in time. In a Latin church document, Pope Gregory the Ninth first associated black cats with Satan. I think that's where it all started. Bad news. Go ahead.
Well, in 1843, Edgar Allan Poe publishes his short story, The Black Cat, in the edition of the Saturday Evening Post. In the story, an unnamed narrator who suffers with alcoholism has a strong affection for pets, especially black cats, until he starts killing them and killing people. he's going to torture and kill his cat and then torture and kill his wife. And then he gets another cat because he's sorry about it, and he starts to repeat the whole thing. His nagging sense of guilt makes him confess eventually, which isn't quite true, because what really happens is he buries his wife behind a wall in the house. And when the police come searching for her, they hear a mewling sound behind the wall. And it is the second black cat that he's gotten that he mistakenly boarded up behind the wall with his dead wife.
You did your homework, dear.
On to you, Bonnie.
You really did your homework. Well, my goodness. Well, the Saturday Evening Post published a short story, which was very, very interesting, that would have all that in a short. I don't know what they considered a short story, Matt, to put. I read the review and I wasn't going to put it in this, but I figured you would. Unbelievable. Now, we're going to jump all the way to 2016, and this is interesting. There is a black cat named Gladstone. I think there were some famous British politicians named Gladstone as well. This Gladstone achieved the position of Chief Mouser to the Treasury in the UK. So this is mostly a UK story with a little bit of Poe thrown in. A former stray cat rescued from Battersea Dogs and Cats home. He was adopted by the HM Treasury staff to deal with the building's longstanding eek, eek, eek mouse problem. Gladstone served until his retirement in 2019, and his upkeep was paid for by the staff, not the taxpayers. And I think it's time for us to let's dance our way. Matt, you've been delightful. Thank you. Don't go away. We'll talk. That was fun. Yes?
Yes, had a great time. Thank you.
I want you to come back and do it again. My pleasure.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Friday. When's your birthday, Matt?
January 17th.
You got to come back. If it's a day of the week, we'll do it.
Celebrating you in style.
Bonnie D signing off with the wonderful Matt C. Cost. He's not too expensive for me. Sorry.